This is 8.4 of geometry. So we're going to continue with our trig functions with sine, cosine, and tangent. But now we're going to look at some real-world examples using the angle of elevation and the angle of depression. So the angle of depression is when something or someone is looking out straight and then they look down a certain angle, and that's where that goes. The angle of elevation is if someone is looking out and they look up a certain amount, and that's where the angle goes. So let's try using that. So we're going to look at, let's look at just all of them. So if we look at angle 1, they were looking out and then they looked down, so that's depression, an angle of depression. If you look here at this guy in the hot air balloon, he's looking straight out. If we look at angle 2, he looks up, so that's elevation. If we look at angle 3, he looks down a certain amount, that's depression. And imagine something, an animal or a bug or something, looking there. They look straight out and then they look up, that's elevation. So let's try using a problem. So we will use this triangle down here. It says you sight a rock climber on a cliff at a 32-degree angle of elevation. So there's a person here. That's what that eye level thing is. Looking up at this climber, so there's another person up here, but he's climbing. Your eye level is 6 feet from the ground. So this is 6 feet. And you are 1,000 feet from the base of the cliff. What is the approximate height of the rock climber from the ground? So here's your cliff, right? This guy is on the cliff, and you're on the ground from it. So we're going to look at this triangle. We're trying to find this side. If we were looking at this angle, this is our adjacent side, and this is our opposite side. So we're going to use tangent. So the tangent of 32 degrees is equal to opposite over adjacent, so x over 1,000. So I need to multiply both sides by 1,000. So I get 1,000 tangent 32 is equal to x. And then on my calculator, if I do that, 1,000 times the tangent of 32, I get that x is equal to about 625 feet. But I also need to take into account that I'm measuring from my eye level, so I need to add 6 feet to this, right, because they're 6 feet tall. So the cliff, maybe we'll leave it the cliff. Cliff is 631 feet. Now let's try one with an angle of depression. So an airplane pilot, so here's our airplane, sights a life raft. So he's looking out at a 26-degree angle of depression. So he sees this life raft. This is 26 degrees. That's our angle of depression. So we're looking at this triangle. It says the airplane's altitude is 3 kilometers. What is the airplane's horizontal distance from the raft? And they want us to use D. So these are horizontal lines. I'll draw them in yellow. These right here are horizontal lines, which means they're parallel, which means that we have alternate interior angles. So if this is 26, this is also 26. The other way you could do it is you know that this is also a right angle, so you could figure out what this angle here is. But let's use that 26. So then this is our opposite side, and this is our adjacent side. So we're going to use tangent again. So the tangent of 26 is equal to opposite, so the 3, over our adjacent D. So I'm going to multiply both sides by D. So I get D tangent 26 equals 3. And I'll divide both sides by the tangent of 26. So that D is equal to 3 over the tangent of 26. And when I do that on my calculator, I get about 6 point, well, however, they didn't specify. Let's just do 6.2 kilometers. And there you go. There's your homework.